Imagine this: you have worked hard, paid taxes, and built a life here. But your future, your home, your career, your family stability hinges on a single decision. Will Australia finally offer a clearer path to permanence, or will it keep you trapped in a cycle of temporary visas? This isn't hypothetical. Over 2.1 million people are waiting for answers as Australia's federal election approaches. For skilled workers, international students, and families, the outcome could transform their lives or leave them in limbo. With housing crises, labor shortages, and political debates heating up, the stakes have never been higher. Australia's migration system is at a critical crossroads. Right now, the country relies heavily on temporary visas to fill jobs, educate students, and fuel economic growth. But this system has a dark side. 70% of skilled migrants arrive temporarily, yet most face a maze of barriers to permanent residency. Visa rules change constantly, quotas shrink, and pathways vanish, leaving people stranded. The election could change everything. Will the new government prioritize fairer PR pathways to retain talent and stabilize communities? Or will it bow to pressure to cut migration, tightening restrictions, and forcing skilled workers to look elsewhere? In this video, we'll unpack the human cost of Australia's temporary by default system, hidden data on how migration policies impact your job, education, and family, exclusive insights into what each political party isn't telling you, actionable steps to protect your future, no matter the election result. Australia's federal election is poised to redefine the future of migration, a system currently balancing over 2.1 million temporary visa holders, including 600,000 international students, 400,000 skilled workers, and 150,000 bridging visa applicants. For these individuals, the election outcome could mean the difference between a pathway to permanence or prolonged uncertainty. With housing shortages, soaring rents, and a tight labor market dominating headlines, migration has become a lightning rod issue. But will the new government prioritize stability for migrants or double down on temporary fixes? The stakes are high. Australia's reliance on temporary visas has drawn sharp criticism, with over 70% of skilled migrants arriving on temporary visas, but only a fraction securing permanent residency due to shifting criteria, occupation lists, and quotas. For example, the 485 graduate visa, critical for international students, has seen validity periods slashed and work rights restricted in recent years. The 189 skilled independent visa, once a popular PR pathway, now receives just 1,000 invitations annually, down from 40,000 a decade ago. This temporary by default approach has created a class of permanently temporary residents, often stuck in low-wage jobs despite high skills. A 2023 University of Melbourne study found that 65% of temporary migrants experience downward occupational mobility, exacerbating workforce shortages in critical sectors like healthcare and IT. Political parties are offering starkly different visions. The current Labor government has reduced the permanent migration cap to 190,000 and hinted at reforms to fast-track PR for healthcare workers while tightening English language requirements for partner visas. The Liberal coalition advocates for a controlled migration framework, proposing cuts to net migration by 30% and stricter student visa rules, such as limiting post-study work hours. Meanwhile, the Greens and Independents push for abolishing punitive character tests for refugees, expanding humanitarian intake, and granting PR to long-term temporary residents, including New Zealand citizens. Historical context reveals Australia's cyclical approach to migration. The 2013 abolition of the 457 visa, replaced by the 482 visa, tightened employer-sponsored PR pathways, while the 2020 Job Ready program faced criticism for complexity. A post-election shift could mirror the restrictive Howard-era Pacific solution or the expansionist Rudd-Gillard reforms, depending on the winning party. Two scenarios could unfold. If the government prioritizes PR reforms, expect expanded quotas for 190 visas, removal of occupation ceilings for in-demand roles, and automatic PR eligibility for international students. This could align skills with labor needs, reduce exploitation, and boost Australia's global appeal. Conversely, a focus on temporary visas might bring stricter student visa conditions, expanded regional pathways like the 491 visa, and reduced PR options for lower-skilled workers. While this could ease short-term housing pressures, it risks worsening labor shortages and deterring international students who contribute $40 billion annually to the economy. For migrants, the message is clear. Act now. Those eligible for PR should prioritize applications before potential policy changes, especially via regional visas like the 491, which grants residency after 3 years. Students and skilled workers must stay vigilant about evolving rules, budget for rising costs, and document qualifications. Advocacy is equally critical. Groups like the Migrant Workers Centre and FECA amplify migrant voices in policy debates. Australia's migration system stands at a crossroads. While temporary visas address immediate labor needs, they risk creating a revolving door of talent. A shift toward permanent residency could foster long-term economic growth and social cohesion, but only if the new government balances populism with pragmatism. The world is watching. Will Australia choose stability or stagnation? The clock is ticking. Whether you're a student, a worker, or a voter, this election will shape Australia's identity for decades. Stay informed, speak up, and prepare, for the migration system you know today might look very different tomorrow. What happens next? The power is in your hands. What's your take? Should Australia prioritize permanent residency or maintain temporary migration? Share your thoughts below.